caught the end of that, charged with murder. They were talking about me in my youthful life, but that is not the case now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a slightly different show for you now. We're going to do the global frequency, because we're going to be talking about entertainment from around the world. I'm joined here again by my cohorts, my companions in crime, my rebellious few, who we're going to talk about a few things from the world of entertainment. Guys, please introduce yourself. I'm, before I forget, CJ Rock.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Sonny.
I'm Carline.
I'm Chris.
Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for travelling so far to get here. It was a bit of a journey for some of you, I know.
Well, you're reimbursing us, aren't you?
Of course. Now, this week was quite an exciting week entertainment-wise. We saw the release of a big trailer, which we'll talk about a bit later. But first of all, what I wanted to talk about was Fast and Furious, because has anybody around here seen any of the Fast and Furious films?
I've seen one.
You've seen
Every
one?
single one.
And that was enough. And that was enough.
You've seen one?
All of them.
Now, I'm back when I was younger, there were films like Loaded Gun, Naked Gun, Loaded Gun, Hot Shot,
Police Academy.
Police Academy.
That's funny.
And they said they were comedy, they went straight out. But nowadays we seem to have this sort of breed of movie which should be comedy, but it's not, because everybody's very serious in it. Now, I watched Furious 7, which was an important movie. It's already made 2 billion worldwide or something like that, just off international sales.
And because of Paul Walker.
And obviously Paul Walker died, and I'll try not to make any jokes about that, because apparently he was quite a nice guy.
Apparently he was ridiculously humanitarian and did all these incredible charity things that just no one knew about for a very long time.
Apparently he did all of that, and he was an honest to God nice guy.
Yeah, but that's impressive. That's
good. Yeah, and if you watch Furious,
thing to when sorry to just jump off topic just slightly, when they done that last Live Aid or whatever it was album, and Adele refused to record on it because she was busy at home raising her daughter who has not long been born, and everyone was like, oh yeah, a few of the guys who were on the album was like, yeah, Adele just blew us off and didn't do anything, didn't return our calls. It's like, she's being a mother and donated £2 million or £1 million of her own money to the cause. It's like
her response should have been.
No, she didn't say anything. She never commented. Her response was amazing. It's like people like that who don't want the attention of being charitable.
No, but it's true. They should have a good comeback. Nice. Do you know what I mean? It's like when Oprah did. She was on Twitter and some guy goes, "Hey, what's Oprah done for black people recently?" And she just went, "Well, I sent about 4,000 young black men to college. I've opened up schools around the world. What have you done?" Do you know what I mean? That needs to be the comeback. Do you know what I mean?
Keyboard warriors.
I don't know. People like to just moan at people, piss and moan all the time. But I mean, Fast and Furious, it doesn't claim to be...
I'm justified moaning about Fast and Furious.
It doesn't claim to be a comedy. It doesn't claim to be some type of theatrical drama that's going to change people's life.
It's just cars.
An action film
that's it.
with cars.
Cars.
Furious cars. Before I lose my shit, I will lose my shit with you.
You said it entertained you. You said it entertained you, and you said it done what it was meant to do.
That's actually a good point, Curtis. You should be very clear. Did you enjoy the film?
That's not my point. My point is...
but that's important. That's
you
the most
enjoyed the
important
film.
point.
Did you watch all of it, Curtis? Did you watch all of it?
You're like one of the people who call up your company asking for a refund because it did entertain them, but it wasn't called a comedy.
I didn't ask for a refund, right? I take responsibility for the fact that you paid for me to go. Now, right? Let's keep it down. I'm not saying it wasn't enjoyable here, but I didn't find it enjoyable for the reasons you found it enjoyable. I found it enjoyable for the fact that everybody did it with a straight face, okay? Because I've asked everybody this today at work. I was going, what does this mean? Do you know the difference between the street and the what was the line? It was...
You forgot.
Do you know what's different about a street fight?
And a street fight, I think.
Yeah.
Is probably.
Do you know what's the difference between a rail fight and a street fight? The street always wins. What the fuck does that mean?
But does it really matter? Does it really matter? Does it really matter?
Exactly.
Like the cast would win Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah, the street would win against Curtis.
Look, I'm not. Yeah, if I tripped over, of course it would win.
Do you like Indiana Jones?
Be careful.
No. Do you like Indiana Jones? any of the first three. Exactly. So you were saying about how would the American government pay a street racer, vandal, criminal to do their high duty blah 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 work trying to find out
before the show I was talking about that, and my exact phrase
finds
was
anyone everywhere.
No, the chip was called Ghost, and what the chip did,
it was called God's Eye.
Do you remember God's Eye? That's how bad the film was, right? Do you remember in Batman?
It will find you anywhere.
You remember in Batman with
but the government didn't develop that.
You're gonna let man
made
speak.
it. That man made it. It's illegal.
I think the man doth protest too much. Let me make my point here.
Batman is a criminal.
Right, so Batman creates this chip which listens to everything, every mobile, every computer, every camera. Right?
Oh, right, yeah, at the end of
in Furious 7, and believe me, when I mention this, it will not spoil the film for you. In Furious 7, they find out about this chip, and the Slovakian government's got it, and they don't send a special crack team of agents. They don't even send the A-team. They send a bunch of street racers to get this chip back, and they give them all these weapons, and don't even get me about the scene that gets them where they're going,
Wait, so is the problem?
My point is with Indiana Jones. So the Nazis employed Indiana Jones to find the box that encases
the American government did it. It was the CIA, because he was an archaeologist.
The tablets that
he was an archaeologist.
Shall we send the archaeologist for the archaeological
so the Nazis employed Indiana Jones to find these God-writing tablets that will burn
the Ark of the Covenant.
Yes. So they found that.
Why are you arguing this? You're saying that the stupid film is fine. So why are you saying that the other film is
I equally enjoyed Fast and Furious. I enjoyed Indiana Jones.
No. Whoa. You equally enjoyed.
I mean, I enjoyed them.
Furious 7.
Fast and Furious 7 isn't as good a movie as what Indiana Jones was.
There we go. That's what I was making sure.
Fast and Furious 7 does what it wants to do.
I haven't seen Fast and Furious 7, but I've seen Fast and Furious 6, and you go into it knowing it's
Fast and Furious 6 is more cheesy and more moronic than 7.
You're paying for something moronic so you can.
But that's the thing.
I laughed out loud in the cinema when.
I don't deny that, but I was left chuckling more in that movie than I was meant to be.
Were you entertained?
Were you entertained?
No, especially when Vin Diesel did his audition. Especially when he starts doing auditions for Marvel superhero. Blatantly, he's going for a superhero role, right?
The Rock?
Yeah. No.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, right?
Man, I would watch that dude in.
He is Groot.
Who?
Vin Diesel.
Nah.
Oh, God.
The Rock is The Rock. Come on, WWF.
Wait, do you mean comparing the two? Because that's not fair. Because Vin Diesel's like 5 foot 9.
I don't care. I'm comparing.
Really skilled actor.
Neither of them.
Guys, before we get drawn off topic, I'm not saying it wasn't enjoyable. I'm just.
You can't say it's a shit film when it's enjoyable and it does its purpose.
Film.
No.
He can be shit.
That's not the thing. Be the same.
It's not a shit film, though.
Those things are not analogous. You can say. Okay, let me think. I don't know. 50 Shades of Grey, massively popular, made loads. It's
Have
a
you
shit
even
film.
seen that film?
I haven't.
But you can enjoy a film that is shit and be honest with yourself that it's. Let me think of a film that I like that's really bad. Watchmen. What people talk about Watchmen, I love it. But when you look at Austin Powers, not so much anymore. When I was
funny.
It's
Austin Powers are right.
Complete trash.
Yeah,
not complete.
It is trash.
I like some of the
It's a shit
film made to do what it was to do. What is the definition of a shit film?
A shit film is something like that isn't actually entertaining,
something
despite the fact it has no actual
bad writing, bad acting, bad
but you can have
what is bad writing from Fast and Furious?
I don't know. Send a bunch of street racers to get
Fast and Furious 7 or the Fast and Furious series in general. Compare it to the Transformers series.
Transformers was shit.
Yes, but the Transformers series was
kind of funny in the first.
It wasn't. It was more on it.
There was some funny. The people were laughing.
None of the funnies.
I don't care. It was funny. It's funny.
Fine. But either way, you can't. Most people will accept that the Transformers films are bad, and that their entire appeal is the Big Bang Bloomy.
Yeah, Michael Bay.
Everything's blowing up. Michael Bay.
Yeah,
which is fine. You can go, but no one. I've never met anyone who's said to me the Transformers films are objectively amazing films, because they're not. That would be dumb.
It's just great CGI.
But you can watch a stupid film and say it's a bad film and enjoy it.
Which is what I'm saying. And my issue.
But you're not. You're saying you didn't enjoy it. That's why we're saying
I enjoyed it. I just thought it was incredibly stupid. And it should have just been.
It's not meant to be the most the most politically correct, physically possible film.
Please,
there are films out there that are so.
Can we not start throwing around the word politically correct? This is Fast and Furious.
I just mean because you're saying the US government.
There's no politically correct to be had.
You're saying the US government wouldn't employ like
a bunch of
street racers to do good
Right,
work.
let me put it this
Fair
way.
enough. The
Armageddon.
Nazis wouldn't
Hold
employ.
on.
Armageddon was also retarded.
Armageddon.
Darth
fun
Vader
film,
wouldn't
right?
actually exist on this planet.
It's a funny, enjoyable film, right? Armageddon.
Right.
This is Bruce
Right?
Willis.
It's great, but it's a stupid movie.
Yeah.
Right. Fast and Furious is the same thing. You can sit there and enjoy it, but when you come out the cinema, you'll be like,
It's a stupid movie, but
they
it's
really
a good
do
movie.
that?
But why is
Does
that? Why are you having a problem with that? Are we sound like we're agreeing, and
He's
you're
having-
arguing that
no,
we're
he's-
agreeing.
He's having a problem with that.
I'm not
saying it's anything more than what it's meant to be.
I was sat in the cinema, and every time he looked at me, he was like, "Oh, you don't get it." Walked out the cinema, I was like, "No, it was great," and he gets mad at me, and I'm like, "I'm just saying."
I didn't get mad at you for anything. I got mad at you for saying it's a
Dude,
shit
you've
film.
turned bright red.
It's
I don't know about anybody else here, but
it's a film designed to
There's a
do
little rage
what
there.
it's meant to do.
All right, moving on to
The next
wasn't
topic.
meant to-
I think we all agree on what we're actually
We're
saying.
not the ones who are meant to be
Okay.
furious over this. I can't.
Wait,
Just fast.
can we be the fast one?
Yeah, can we be fast and move on?
Hey.
Right.
So moving on quickly, right? A trailer. Now you guys are all way younger than I am, right? So I don't know how much this affected you all.
Yep.
But Star Wars,
Yep.
new trailer came out. Have you all seen it?
Yep, Trayvon J. Walker.
No.
Nope. I'm seeing a clear gender divide here.
No, I don't know about you guys, but I go out. So for me, it's like, don't you not go out? You just stay in and just watch until you.
Go in.
I don't know.
I go out and watch Star Wars. I don't know what you're pointing at.
I mean, I was outside briefly in between here and the cinema. I didn't see what the problem is.
I got a tan going to the cinema. I don't know what you're on about.
I walked
I'm at a pub now. I'm currently at a pub. I'm out.
I'm out, in, out.
Are you excited about it? Did you like the trailer?
How can you not be excited about it if you have any stake in it? Obviously, if you've not seen them and you don't care, then you won't be excited about it, right? I wasn't particularly excited for Fast and Furious 6 because I was never really invested in the franchise. But Star Wars has let down a lot of people.
How? I haven't seen it yet.
What?
Any
No,
of
not
them?
the new one.
Oh, what are you talking about then?
Not the new one that's coming out. The
second
last
trilogy.
the second set of films did let down a lot of people, which is interesting because it hasn't seemed to let down the generation of people it's important to, and that's the kids. I mean, you consider the original 3 films when they came out, most of the people who were huge Star Wars fans, I was way too young to be the first wave, but the people who were really into it were kids when that came out. They were in their early to late teens, and I feel like they did accept a lot of things that the kids who are watching the new trilogy are letting go. It is stupid, and it is dumb, and it is about space wizards. But by the same token, you
Space
can go see it
wizards.
and have fun. Now that you have a serious director on board, someone who doesn't make films about space wizards exclusively, and someone who's which one is it again?
J.J. Abrams is in it.
Yeah, so now you have
He just makes about it just normal wizards and
normal wizards. But
Lost-
you have a director
Lost
who's very well
Things and
respected, and
hero
a high-end
things.
director involved in
Star Trek. He done
a film
Star
with the
Trek.
most unreal amount. Yeah, he did. One of them.
He's done Star Trek and Star Wars. Isn't that kind of like a clash of the
Blasphemy.
nerds?
I don't know. I think he just turned Star Trek into Star Wars myself.
a little bit, yeah.
Not a lot.
A little bit.
Come on.
I actually watched the last
He did
2
the
Star
Vija.
Trek movies. I quite liked them.
Vija one, his one.
No, he's
done
the
both of
one
them,
with
did
the,
Nemesis.
No. He did
Into the Darkness.
The last 2
The
that
last
came
2 were
out.
good.
Yeah,
the last one-
exactly. He done the good ones.
They're exact copies of Star Wars.
Wow.
No, they're not. There's no
they are.
Jedis.
How?
Where are the Jedis?
Planet destroying weapon. Check.
Okay.
Old wizard man giving advice. Check.
He's not a wizard.
Rebellious young man. Check.
Rebellious Young
All
Man is
in
a trope
Star
outside
Trek.
of Star Wars.
True, but it's everything that was in Star Wars is in the Star Trek films.
Everything that's in it.
And even worse,
That's
he
like saying
repeats
that Star Wars is ripping off every. I mean, Star Wars
every
rips
fantasy-
off every
fantasy novel.
cowboy sci-fi film ever.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying J.J.
Indiana
Abrams
Jones was a rebellious young
took
man
all the
getting
elements,
advice by an old
took-
dude.
Why do you keep bringing up Indiana Jones, man?
And wizard, I watched it.
Let it go.
You're
I watched Temple of Doom today,
going to
and
continue
I love
comparing every film to Indiana Jones. We're not going to get far. All I'm saying is that he
got a whip,
literally
which
took
is like
all
a
the
lightsaber.
elements out of Star
Are you excited
Star
for the
Wars.
new film?
I cried a little bit. cried a little bit, especially when I saw
Jaywalker.
John Boyega.
Too hard.
How lucky is John Boyega, right? His first film was Attack on the Block.
Yeah, which was terrible.
First ever acting job.
Just crap.
He
That
then
wasn't
went
his
to
first
24.
acting job.
No, I enjoyed the Attack on the
His
Block.
first
Yes,
serious high level
His
Attack-
first like movie.
high level acting.
He done a lot of like really shitty TV shows.
But everyone
No,
does.
he did 24, and now he's in what will possibly be the biggest film ever.
Are
in
we
terms of
talking
money?
about the biggest film ever? What?
Yeah, the Black guy.
Star Wars.
Really?
Black
Yeah.
Stormtrooper.
Possibly, yeah.
That big?
Straight from James.
It's already predicted to make 2 billion.
He's not token yet. I'm hoping he isn't token. He
What's
doesn't
that?
have daddy
We
issues.
haven't seen it.
So that's the big thing that I'm scared of, right? Is that because the main character is in a Star Wars film, it's highly likely that he may have some issues concerning his father, depending on where his bloodline's going. And if you've got a black main character
Well, if he's
who has
anything
issues
to
with
do
his
with
father,
Luke.
people are going to call bullshit, and I'm worried about that. Well, yeah, because Luke did as well. But if Luke was a black guy, people would be like,
Well, isn't the voiceover at the beginning
Fathers,
is like Luke.
Killed his wife, black guy.
My dad had
you say
abandoned his kids to his uncle.
But when I was a kid, that was one of the stereotypes.
started
that was
selling
always
death
there.
sticks to people.
I doubt that. I think the audience.
buy some death sticks?
I think the Star Wars audience will be quite accepting.
Gateway drugs,
and they'll
death
be
sticks.
like,
No, they won't. No
Yeah,
way.
they will.
There are two. There's a clear divide between like Star Wars fans, right? There's fans like me who don't. I like Star Wars as an entity. I don't particularly care if it gets screwed up because I don't have a huge amount of stake in it.
But at least they were already the good ones.
Yeah, and that you do have the good films. They haven't
Yeah.
gone anywhere. Yes, George Lucas has tried his absolute hardest to destroy them, but fans are fans, and they will pirate the crap out of all your stuff if you take it away from them. So that's going to happen. I don't think there's anything they can do at the moment to discredit Star Wars. Even if this film is the worst film that's ever been made and makes no sense, which is what Episode 1 kind of nearly was, I don't think they can hurt. Star Wars is an unbreakable brand. It's always going to be around.
It is a license to print money. I think they've already announced. In between the movies that they're making more movies.
And
So
2 games.
The
They'll have
merchandise.
episode
God.
7, then a new separate movie.
And 2 really
And then-
high level, like AAA games, Battlefront 2 and the Order 90s. No, I can't remember what it's called, but it follows like a very elite section. So you've got 2 really like millions and millions and millions of dollars
I
going.
know, it's just money. And EA, they're already going, yeah, we're taking this. Go away.
Yeah, EA killed. The funniest thing as well is the company that's making the newer games actually killed the company that made the original games. They absorbed them and then sold them, or they absorbed them and then fired everybody. So they bought the licenses.
Allegedly.
I'm excited for it. I think if it's bad, I don't care. If it's good, then we've got a good Star Wars film.
I think it'd take a lot for it to be bad. As long as it's not, J.J. Abrams is a smart guy, and even though I'm not his
As long as there
biggest-
aren't flying cars going through
even though I'm not his
buildings,
biggest
he'll be
fan, did anybody watch Lost?
I didn't like Lost.
happy.
Did you
No,
watch Lost?
I got lost on that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh my gosh.
No. Well, I
think
think
Lost got
Lost got lost.
I never
but
started it.
That was one of his ones. The Fringe was one of his ones.
Fringe was supposed to be really good.
Oh, Fringe is
It's
so good.
alright, but it doesn't. It does rip off X Files. Like it just pumps.
But
it
X
like you wouldn't
Files
believe.
is now dated. I would love.
They're
If
supposed, to
someone
be
told me
making,
we're
they're
going
supposed to be making a film of that, though. Is there a or new,
Another one?
new
Took
series?
everything that like we can do now with CGI and took all of the great plot lines that are out there and twisted them just enough to make it.
Do you think that would work? Because I don't think people are into aliens so much anymore.
If someone told me they're going to remake the whole of X Files and not change a single episode, do the exact same stories for every episode, but make it now level production, I'm in. I will watch every episode because I never watched all of X Files. I'm not like a huge
Yeah,
X Files guy, but I would watch every episode.
Do you know, I think you're trying to deny your nerd roots because every time you mention something really nerdy, you're like, "Yeah, I'm not big into it." But I get the feeling you are because you mentioned EA Battlefield.
My nerdiness is video games. That's my
Okay, no, fair enough. X Files I enjoyed. I loved it when it was originally there. It's interesting what the new the reboot's going to be like. What's his name? David Duchovny went off and did Californication, which the first season of that is one of my favourite shows. Did anybody watch Californication?
I
I
didn't.
watched a
No.
bit of it until he started screwing his daughter's friend, who was 15. Was she? I don't know. Really
So
young.
Oh, I'm in. What show is this?
Quite weird.
the show?
No, she wasn't 15.
Yeah.
She was under, I think in America, I don't know.
Under 18 anyway.
She was
18
under
consent.
Depends on which
State.
state.
California.
Like
Actually, there are 50 states. I'm not sure. I can tell tell you
I'm from America. I do not know
I can tell you that at
everything.
least in about most of the coastal states, the age of consent is 14 within 4 years, and then 16 for any age.
Which is the law that we should have
within
here.
4 years?
Like a 14-year-old can sleep with an 18-year-old, 15-year-old can sleep with a 19-year-old,
Fair
and then
enough.
16 you can sleep with whoever you want.
The rules that almost every country except England and Japan has.
Because we're Puritans over here, man.
16. Okay.
We like to keep the purity of our young
Well,
ladies
you can't
as long as
record
we
it until
can.
18.
But you can join the army.
Yeah, you can go and kill
In
something.
America, you can get married, join the army, film yourself having sex, but you can't drink at 18.
What?
Oh, yeah, it's 21. Isn't it?
Oh no, I think you've
It's
just put him
21.
off going to the States.
I'm done. Guess I'll cancel my plane ticket.
But
You're
okay, so
22 now,
Star Wars is coming out. Everybody around the table that seems to be male is excited. Everybody's like, yeah.
No, I'm actually. I do like Star Wars, so I'll be.
It should be
I am excited about John Boyega being in it. Excited about Harrison Ford being back. Not about the rest of the cast so much because Harrison Ford looks like he's still got a bit left in him. The rest of them not
Oh
too
god,
sure.
yeah,
We'll
what?
see.
No, no, the others look terrible.
It's gonna. The
Mark
one
Hamill,
person.
See,
Mark Hamill needs
is
to
he in
remain
it?
being the Joker and leave everything else he's ever
Is
done
he in?
alone.
The-
Yeah,
the-
he's in, yeah.
The one thing I'm worried about is
I just heard his voice.
they haven't announced.
Leia.
They haven't announced Billy D. Williams. He has not been announced, and there's one person I want to see in Star Wars just to see him shuffle up and go, "My name's Billy D. Williams."
Oh my God.
Because I think that would be the best thing ever. Or I'm hoping Boyega's his
What's
son,
his name? His name was it Landis? What's his name?
Lando.
Lando Calrissian.
Lando Calrissian.
What
The
do
one
we
black
have
guy in
here?
space. For the whole of the Star Wars
But
series.
he did a good job. Blew up the second Death Star. You
did.
got to give the guy credit for that. Now, moving on. Does everybody here watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said no. Why not?
Terrible.
It's because I've read 4 of the books and I can't be asked to watch the rest. There's so many films to watch and books to read, so that's why I haven't watched it.
Okay, fair enough. I can deal with that.
You're watching Breaking Bad. Just stop Breaking
So
Bad.
you're
I
up to
got
the
to
third
watch Breaking
season.
Bad.
Up to the third season, yeah.
Are you
No
up
spoilers.
to date, or are you
What
not into
season?
Game of Thrones?
Third.
The third. Oh,
Previous one.
No, the previous one was the fourth.
What?
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah, this
So
is
we
the
all
fifth
got it wrong.
season now.
We all said we watched
The fifth season
Well, I'm
is the
one
current
season
season.
behind.
Oh, okay. What was the last episode you watched? So I know what not to.
Wait,
Yeah, because we will work it. What's the last
Spoiler
one?
alert. What was the last season you watched?
Oh
No,
god.
the last episode, like, because we've all watched.
What's the
more.
last major event you remember?
The last major event.
Who's the
I
last
remember.
person who died?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, no, that's all right. No.
Wait, so
Look,
who's dead?
We can talk about
Who have you seen die?
Okay,
we-
let me
I
judge you
know-
this
I
way.
know
You know the
Arya
little
is with-
shitty blonde king.
Yeah, he's dead.
What is he doing? Oh, he's dead. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. Did you watch the end of that season?
No, I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we know where we
I'm
we know
one
where
season
that's
behind, right?
three.
What's
Oh,
the-
okay.
is that?
All right.
Yeah, that is the last season that's been
Yeah.
released, and the fifth one has just started.
I feel so sorry for that actor. Have you seen the stuff people have said to him in the streets and stuff?
hate him.
People seem to think,
I hate
like EastEnders actors, they get assaulted and things. People seem to think that those people are real.
No, I don't think they do. I just think those people who go out to them are bastards. Because at the end of the day, it's like
He's not quit acting. and he's gone back to school.
He's also a kid.
We know.
Leave him alone.
Like I know that Harrison Ford is not Indiana Jones. I know this. The only actor I know who is like his characters is Billy D. Williams.
Oh my god! all his characters are drive tech.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, my name is Billy
buddy.
D. Williams. What do we have here? I was hoping that he would have gotten it together with Princess Leia instead of Han Solo because I think they would have made a better couple. But
I feel like
anyway,
films wouldn't
right?
be as popular if they had a race
You never know. You never know.
vibe
Han
to
Solo,
it.
the character Han Solo, was actually originally cast. They actually auditioned a couple of black guys to be Han Solo, but they thought at the time it was the 70s that it would be a bit too risque.
You're also not going to meet a whole lot of people who will be a better Han Solo than Harrison Ford.
True.
Really,
Well, he's Harrison
is
Ford.
Han Solo.
He's married to what's her name? Who's he? I can't remember.
Calista Flockhart.
Miss Solo.
Callista Flockhart, who's what about 30-something years old, and he's 70.
No,
but anyway,
she's 50.
Han Solo ain't Solo no more. I wasn't aware of this.
don't worry. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, Game of Thrones, as such, the new season started. You're close to finishing your one. You've seen Joffrey go down.
Yeah.
All I'm going to ask, because we've gone on for a while, so I'm not going to spoil anything. What are your hopes for the future?
This is going to be
World peace.
scary.
Nobody's saying anything. What are your What's your hope for Sansa?
I just hope that she stops being
A little
stupid.
bitch.
Yeah. No one
God,
likes
she's just
Sansa.
She
everyone's
could gather
tool.
some sort of
Grow a
common
pair of
sense.
balls.
Well,
Her little sister's
I
got
won't
more
spoil
balls
that
than
for
her.
you. I will say, don't spoil anything.
I didn't spoil anything.
All I will
It's
say
true
is
from like the 4th episode.
your hopes may be fulfilled there, but I'm not saying anything's happened.
My main hope right now is for Arya Stark to just go.
Murderize everybody.
Well, first find what's his name?
What is she doing at the minute?
The
Is
one
she
who gave
with-
her the coin.
His dance, her dance
the
teacher.
killer dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. The
I just want her to go find him and learn how to kill people, and then just destroy everyone.
I won't spoil anything.
I knew this was a bad idea.
What is she doing at the minute? Who is she with?
She's still with.
She's with the wolf, the hound.
The Hound.
Yeah, she's
Ah,
with the Hound.
Okay. And on a Game of Thrones note, the one who's,
Thor, the mountain.
no, the woman, the one who can
The nearest Targaryen.
One who can handle a sword.
Oh,
Throwing out names.
the big butch girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one of the best characters.
Brunhilde.
I don't remember her name, but she's genuinely one of the best characters
She's
I've ever seen
actually
in
been
fiction.
cast in Star Wars, which is like
That's
that's a good,
promising.
really massive jump for her. But
as Wookiee.
I found it in the books that character in Game of Thrones is
That's a
distinctively
Wookiee.
hideous.
Jesus
They make a
Christ.
point of saying that she's the ugliest woman that most people have ever seen.
They said that with Tyrion. Tyrion was meant to have his nose cut
Yeah,
off. But
yeah.
I think
I understand it, but
TV-wise, Tyrion's been through enough.
let's leave the guy alone.
Yeah, let's give him a break. Yeah, and I think sometimes with TV, with the book, they're trying to get across certain things, and with TV, you don't need to do that. And they were able to make Tyrion a figure of hate for normal people without doing that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
and
also,
without he was already fit. They have done stuff to make the show a lot more mainstream than the books would be. They've taken out a lot of really egregious rape scenes, which I understand. Well, they left a lot of horrific stuff in, which I applaud them for how X-rated they have kept it. Like with the fight with the Mountain and the Viper. I won't say what happened, but it was a really, really, really good fight. And the fact that they kept it the way almost exactly happened in the book, gruesomeness and everything. And I winced, and I never ever went. I watched Hostel, saw everything, and I've never winced, and that made
do you
me.
think that's
What scene was that?
For me,
The Viper versus the Mountain. Yeah, but I like that they
that's
kept
right.
it like grim as hell.
Is there a section? 'Cause I can't remember there's a bit where there's a grandfather and he's got like a trailer and it's got all his grandchildren. Is that in this book, in the Game of Thrones?
oh yeah, no, she's talking about the
the
guy
dude
beyond the wall. Do you
on
remember?
the wall when he's got all
you
his-
must
Oh,
have
gosh,
seen that.
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Shags all his
Which
daughters.
one?
When they all go out to find the wall, they go out to see what's going on beyond the wall, and the first place they go to is that guy who's got like
Yeah, he's
hundreds
dead
of daughters.
by now.
Yeah, they've
That
done
guy.
it.
All his daughters.
Yeah, that was nasty. Do you think in Game of Thrones the reason why it's
Fat
so
crow dude.
a lot of the deaths, even the people you hate, are so like they affect you in a way, is because they are so grim. Usually with violence, if you watch most films now, you don't see blood. Like Wolverine, you got a guy walking around with 3 indestructible blades for fingers,
And an indestructible skeleton.
and you don't see any blood. But with Game of Thrones, they literally, it's like there's blood everywhere.
I think what it is that the way Game of Thrones starts off is you start off with
I think it's the
your typical
rating.
main
You can't
character.
see blood if it's like a 12th movie.
It's nothing. It's you start off with this very typical main character in Ned Stark, right? And Ned Stark, you've read the book, so you know what happens. You're far beyond that point.
I read it about 10 years ago, that's why I can't remember.
Well,
Certain
you
things
ask
I
me what
remember.
happens to Ned Stark. That's right at the start. So, Ned Stark is your typical honourable. And the whole time I'm watching this, I've never been exposed to Game of Thrones before, and I'm like, he has to make it. There isn't any way Ned Stark dies. He's clearly the main character of the story, and he dies like a season in, and is
It's
referred.
like the 3rd episode.
Well, yeah, he dies gruesomely. First of all, in front of his whole family. This guy, as far as I was concerned, as a general
And then
watcher,
the arsehole
he
king
was going to come
tortures
back
his daughter about it.
and survive, and then that keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like Drogo, I didn't think there was no way they were going to kill off a character that popular. They just did it. They're like, well, it happens.
And they
the
pull
thing.
it off. People don't actually get that infuriated about it. That makes sense.
But what you do get is emotional about the characters that remain, because you don't want them to die, and you're aware that most of them are going to. That's the point of the story. But I feel like it helps. I don't think it's the brutalness of the deaths. I think it's that they build up very strong characters and don't mind killing them. So you're never really sure.
Yeah, they're not afraid to kill a main character.
Or not even a main character. Like,
You don't really know who the main character is.
I think that's partly what makes it so popular, and also it's been a long time since we've had even a lot of period dramas and stuff like that. I think George R. Martin has this really good understanding of history
and what people are like.
Yeah, and he puts it in the books. And like, you know, I wonder what would happen if somebody walked into Westeros and went, "Guys, have you heard of this thing called democracy?" Because it's just constant slaughter.
I don't think they would last very long. I think.
Be surprised. My guess is that's going to be the ultimate end of the book. Somebody comes up with an idea about democracy, and they're like, "Do you know what? Let's try this instead of constant slaughter."
They all have a sit down, nice cup of tea, and a chat,
and some weed. Because let's face it,
we found this new plant called
Earthroot. Some weed in there, it'd probably sort it all out. But yeah, I'm loving Game of Thrones. The new season, please get into that.
But we were talking about The Walking Dead as well, in terms of super popular TV shows, and I think that's the thing The Walking Dead does wrong. Is they have weak characters who make bad decisions on purpose so that they can die and be killed. Like when they go to the town with the mayor, and the mayor's starts out all nice and soon he's evil. Like, you don't even need to interact with him before you know.
You're right, because I remember the funny story. Do you remember that character T-Dog?
Yeah, but no one felt anything when he died.
Yeah, but
he was he was the blackest black man that ever blacked, and that was his character.
Not just that, he was like, every time they did T-Dog, right, he was stood there, and they'd have moments where somebody would be talking to somebody, and they'd cut to T-Dog, and T-Dog would just go, and then it cut to somebody else.
He just nodded.
It was so bad. It was like it got to the episode where he actually gets killed, and that's the episode that he says the most lines. And
they were mostly, "Oh God, please don't let me die."
Yeah, no, it was like, "I can deal with this. I go, you run, you go." Oh shit!
Immediately dead.
So was he an extra?
No, he was an important character for most of the story. Just the fact is, Game of Thrones has a huge cast, right, with all these characters, and they managed to make every single one important in their own way, right? Even the advisors and everyone are important.
Because they got so many different.
But then you have a huge cast in Walking Dead, and they've said before the comic books have this huge cast. They've had to combine the character of the blonde woman who.
Carol.
No, the one who makes every bad decision she can make. She sides with the wrong guy in the first season when they get to the farm. She sides with the wrong guy when they're in with the whole mayor saga when they get to the perfect village. She makes all the wrong decisions and then she eventually dies. But that character from the comic books is two characters combined together. So there's two different characters that follow that story in the comic books. And in the show, it reads as this woman who is ungodly dumb and makes every wrong decision and doesn't die for 3 seasons, and it reads as fake. Whereas everyone who makes a mistake in Game of Thrones dies. They all die, and even those who make the right choice, like the Red Wedding, the right choice is to unite, and it doesn't work out because people are greedy, and that's how people work. And
is that the one with the Starks?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
That's the one with the Starks. And the Red Wedding is the
one area I disagree with you slightly on, especially with Walking Dead, is that the problem with Walking Dead is it's based on a comic book, and T-Dog was never in the original book. He literally was the PC guy brought in, because we need some black people in here. And then all of a sudden, there's like the past 2 seasons, there's been loads of black people in there, and they haven't lasted long.
One of the best characters that they've had, I haven't actually watched the season, so she's probably dead by now. One of the best characters they've ever had is the black woman with the katanas, because
she's still there.
Her whole thing was that she is heartless and does not care, and that's fine. You can have a character like that in the story, but you can't just make them suddenly change their mind. Like Daryl, when Daryl decides he's going to leave, and he's like, "I'm going with my brother because I thought my brother was dead, and it's the only reason I even followed you people. I don't particularly like you, and you're all morons." The reason everyone loves Daryl is he's the only intelligent human being out of the whole party. Like when the guy gets bitten, they're like, "We should just kill him." Daryl's the only person who says that. Like, we shouldn't just let him heat up to 100 million degrees, then die in a horrible, painful way, then have to kill him again. Just kill him now. In a humane, straightforward way.
No, that's why Daryl's so popular. There's a lot of stories on the internet. People wanted him to become the first gay character on Walking Dead. Unfortunately, I don't know.
Interesting.
There was a lot of obsession. There was a rumor they were going to do that. They pulled away from it.
Quality.
There's doing a Walking Dead spin-off now as well, set before the spin-off hasn't been released yet, but it's going to be, I think, in a couple of weeks, couple of months coming out, and it's going to cover what happened before the outbreak, that led up to the outbreak.
Well, the big reveal at the end of season 1 that everyone has the virus in them inherently, and that it doesn't matter if you get bitten or if you just die, you're coming back as one of them, right?
It's called I Am Legend.
Fucking what? Like, it was your end goal is to not die, right? It doesn't matter if if you die of old age and in turn, who cares? It's not a big reveal.
I know, but I'd be terrible in a zombie outbreak because I snore. It'd be like, I'd have to hide somewhere and muffle up. I'd be the first one to get killed, not for being a zombie, but just because he's snoring.
Yeah, I snore
Shut him
too.
up.
One of the other best characters as well that no one talks about is the black guy who rescues the main character, whose name I've forgotten because he's the blandest human being.
The guy with the pole.
The guy who goes mental because he loses his wife, then loses his son, then just holes up in a building with a huge amount of assault weapons and basically kills anyone who comes close to him. That makes sense, though, for him to break.
You've got to watch the new season.
Because he comes back. I don't want him to come back.
Do you think in this world of I've never seen any of these shows that you're talking about at the minute.
You mean the one show?
Killjoy.
Or Walking Dead or Breaking Bad or any of this type of stuff. But do you think if someone, because in my opinion, zombie apocalypse, just get on a boat, get a load of stuff, big yacht, get some guns and some
The
food
problem with that,
do whatever. Do you think there's like zombie blue whales and shit?
Yes.
they haven't actually approached it.
That would be horrific.
Yeah, I wouldn't get on a boat. I'd get on
The reason
some.
I wouldn't get on a boat is if you have that many people. A lot of Game of Thrones, not like Game of Thrones, a lot of The Walking Dead, the zombies aren't the threat. It's other human beings and the people who are still alive and political struggles. And like if you have a group of people together for a really long time, there isn't any police or anything like that. They're going to start murderizing each other, right? The first season,
have loads of alcohol and loads of food, and
you got thieves, you got cannibals, you got all sorts of stuff to deal with. And also, I think in a zombie outbreak, it depends on what type of zombie.
do they know what's going on in the other
Are you
countries?
talking rage zombies? You're talking slow, crappy zombies?
Is every other country in the Walking Dead world zombies?
You don't know. It's not part of
Have
the...
they like popped over to Australia, see what's going on?
Is there anyone
chilled out,
who's
had a
not
barbecue?
from America in the series?
Is it like the World Series again?
No. It is set in what? Like the southern states?
I don't know.
Where
They
is it even set?
seem to be in a forest all the time.
Are Canada
They don't seem to get out of forests very
certain forest
often.
here.
And I think it's the same
Probably not the
forest.
South then.
Aren't they in the same forest as the first episode? One of my mates was talking about this. You and
They seem to be.
Mac.
They hit a forest and they've stayed in the forest ever since.
Forest.
Occasionally they come to a
prison.
farm or a town, but they end up in a forest again, which is very, I don't know, a
Zombie
bit
place.
awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I think we've rolled again. It was only meant to be 15 minutes. We've gone on for 36. I've got some editing to do now, ladies and gentlemen. My name's CJ Rock. Guys, say goodbye to the audience. You've been great. We might come back next week. Please come back next week. We've done another show. Yes, we're here at Lazy Fox every week. Please leave your comments on the website. This was Global Frequency. Guys, it's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You can say goodbye, Rachel. Don't be shy.
Bye.
You came all the way from America. You gotta say hello to people now.